Hot diggity dog.
Yeah, I figured that would fix it, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to ask him to restart the stream now.
Yeah, it was definitely whatever you did fixed it. It's just because my stream was started before your settings were engaged. I reckon that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that we've got your audio now. So, I mean, heck, we could.
We got 5 people in the chat now.
Well, I mean, mate, if you want to have a chat, by all
I
means.
don't mind.
But
Like I
it's
said, I
now
got I
10:40
got
p.m.
20
for me.
minutes before I have to take off.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess bonus stream then to anybody who's still hanging out.
Um,
So let's
I will
have
say
let's have a
before we
critical chat.
continue, I'm getting a little bit of feedback of me in your microphone. I'm hearing myself a little bit.
Is that happening right now? Let me just adjust my volumes here. Let me hold on. Okay, how's that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd have to talk for a little bit to hear myself, but I'm not hearing it come through, so sounds good.
Excellent. Alrighty, well let's have a talk, man.
Yeah, man.
Bonus stream for those who decided to kick it, mate. So skeleton runes, mate. What do you make of them?
Oh, they're very rune-like. From time
They
to
are
time, I
very.
do find them to be like runes. You were talking about, the reasons you think that they put out skeleton runes, and I
Yep.
think there was definitely some, but I really just think this is a pirate game, and they're just excited to give us something to fiddle with, to give us a puzzle, right? And
Yeah.
you know, the the writers, I've interacted with a few of them over various social media accounts, and they're always really excited when we figure things out, and really passionate to see us, work through these puzzles. Um, Puzzling has always been a huge part of the pirate genre, so I just think I think it's really cool that they do it. I'm a huge fan. I know some people are kind of like a little sick of it, but
Yeah. Some people don't quite. They're not quite on that bandwagon, which is
right,
fair enough. I mean,
yeah.
we each to our own.
Um, yeah, and then we were talking about like translation process, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Um, I don't know that any of us are so professional about this that we have any sort of like rubric that we,
Well,
grade our
no,
translations on,
not
right?
not technically. In like it was basically like an easy to understand sort of description as to how it works. It's definitely incredibly messy in those in those Discord chats. Like we
I was
definitely just
actually
blare about a lot
That
of
was
stuff.
actually something I was working on a few days ago, because I've had some issues with some of the runes that we have. Well, you don't participate in the public Discord,
I
but
don't know.
I'm over there quite a bit,
Yeah.
and I see a couple things. I see that we are kind of seen as a source of authority on the runes, and
See,
I
I
also
don't know if I
see.
like that.
Right. Well, I mean, whether you like it or not, the fact that we specialize, right? We're specialists.
I guess.
Even if we're not professionals, we have taken the time to spend as much time as we do with people who also spend as much
Right.
time as possible trying to do this. So,
Like
we kind of
some
come
people
across.
sharpen their cutlass, we sharpen our pencils.
Right. Well, we're seen as a bit of a source of authority, and then the runes on the rune page, the ones with the question marks next to them,
Mm-hmm.
people often start using those in arguments. So someone will say, "Oh, I think this rune means like, for example, the one with the twisting smoke shape that
Yes.
we see on the Reaper's hole." So that one comes up a lot, especially because I know the guy who goes by Gaming Squib or Toto.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of translations that center around that rune,
Mm-hmm.
and so it comes up a lot in discussion.
I
And
see.
I've seen people say, "Oh no, you're wrong because the AIU has that rune up as a possible
Yeah,
translation."
yeah. That's
Right.
why I don't think I like the sound of that. See, because the question mark is to
Well,
signify that even we aren't completely sure, but this is our closest
right,
assumption on the
right.
collective chats that we've had.
And so I was going through those runes. I was looking at the various question mark runes, and some of them, it's like, oh well, we all know what this rune means. Like below is on there still, which that's fine. I understand
Yes.
that
Yeah.
we don't have like this amazing word of God translation. We don't have a context strong enough to be able to say, ah, yes, we 100% got it.
That's right.
But having it exist alongside some of these other runes where the translations are 150% built upon nothing but towering um, piles of speculation that we have propped up with our various lore research. It feels a little like, I don't like that because um, it's okay to say, oh, we don't know that this is below, but everything we have, all the context, all the things that we're looking at point to this rune meaning below. But there's some of those runes that I just don't feel fit in that category. So I was trying to
Right.
come up with a rubric of like how we are adding those runes to the website. Like, what is it? What is the criteria for including? Because
Hmm.
whether you like it or not, when you create a fancy website and you create a Discord of people that can talk together, you are going to be seen as some level of authority by some amount of people, right? I
Understandably.
mean,
Yeah.
look how little it doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm not saying that Falcor hasn't worked hard to get where he is, but he is not any sort of like specialist, and yet look at how he's treated as an authority by the community, right? It doesn't take a lot of effort to
Yeah,
be
well,
treated
well,
in
see,
such a way.
that's why when I was explaining to someone else, how do we differ with what we do with what Falcor does? And it's Falcor's an entertainer. He his greatest strength in his department at the moment is the fact that he knows how to like address people. Like today, I was fumbling all over the
Correct.
place with our
Yeah.
discussion stream because I'm not an entertainer. I'm not great with public speaking and stuff, and the nerves get me. And on top of things, he has like the software and the hardware to create a nice video. But
Yeah.
we aren't entertainers. We're information gatherers. We go out and we collect data
Right.
to share in the
Yeah.
form of like a text document, for example. So that's where his field is a little bit different to our field. That's why he gets different like different respects, I suppose you could say. Like we get
Right.
our respects and he gets his respects, but they're all on a different spectrum, I suppose, or a different end
Absolutely.
of the
And
spectrum.
we get a lot of people in both the lore Discord, the public lore Discord,
Hmm.
where I hang out a lot, and also in the AIU chats. Whenever Falcor posts something, we're like, oh, here's Falcor, he's coming in again, because we feel like we're building these very carefully crafted theories, and then he's like stomping in with his hordes of followers, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is that, like you said, he's an entertainer, and
Mm.
um, he's never presented, in my opinion, he's never presented himself dishonestly.
That's right. Yeah.
He's never come out and said, oh, I am the smartest, I'm the best, I know what's going on, I know what we're doing.
Yeah,
He's
I get that.
always been, yeah,
He's
and
respectable.
so yeah, he is. No, I like him. I watch his videos,
Likewise,
especially he
likewise.
helped me a lot when I was a new player. I came in from the Steam release as when I
Mm.
started playing. And his lore videos helped me catch up. There's a lot of things that I would not have known today except watching his little lore videos, just quick little snippets that I can watch that cover a little interesting topic. I wouldn't have
Mm.
known anything about Wanda or the process of building the Reaper's hideout, and he covered all that, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and you go even
So
further back, and he's got him about all the cave paintings and stuff, and he's been trying to interpret the different cave paintings. This is long before the tall
right, right,
tales, such as
yeah.
Sug's Tall Tales. So,
Oh, I see.
and that actually is where I found Falcor and the cave paintings for Sea of Thieves, because they always interest me. Like this whole
Right,
Ancient Isles University stuff that we're doing, that fuel has long been there. And the cave paintings of the Sea of Thieves really piqued my interest because I was hoping for some sort of hidden message, hidden secret, and Falcor kind of helped
right,
fuel that. And as a
right.
result, I've really never put down Sea of Thieves, just hoping that mystery that I'm waiting to find is still somewhere there, waiting
Well,
for
and it,
me.
it clearly is. It clearly is somewhere there
Definitely.
because if you look at the timeline, like you said, the cave paintings, they've been in the game since the islands were beginning to be finalized,
Yes.
and we can see when Sud's Tall Tale drops. I don't know what was the Tall Tales were a year later or a year and a half later from
Yeah,
launch.
something like that. Yeah, about a year and a half, I
Yeah,
think.
right. So the Tall Tale drops, and you see, oh, hey, look, all these tales are connected to these paintings, and
Hmm.
you can see that there's a river running through the lore that it has been consistent from the beginning, that they have created a story in the background for us to learn, for us to prick out with our tools, and yeah, and that really gives me a lot of confidence that we're not just fiddling around with nothing.
That's right.
That there is something there to discover. I really do believe
And
that.
I feel it in my guts too. It's kind of like a gut feeling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they wouldn't be giving us, I guess, this sort of training if something wasn't there to
yeah,
find. I mean,
yeah.
just it seems way too sophisticated, way too elaborate. The way they've put this together. I mean, they've
Hmm.
obviously been waiting for us to perform actions like this. It's just they're not going about it in an in-game way. They're kind of doing it in social medias for when we're outside of game. And it kind of keeps, I like the
Absolutely.
balance too, because like you're in game and you do that, then you're out of game and you do this. I mean, I'm all about Sea of Thieves, but I haven't been playing. I've been in the Discord talking to you
Right,
guys about Sea of Thieves.
right.
So,
Yeah, I've definitely put more hours into working on runes than I have into actual gameplay.
yeah,
In
at
fact,
least this year.
I logged on. I was like, man, I'm level 88 or something like that. I'm like, I need to hit 100 before this season ends.
I feel you. Yeah.
So,
It's
yeah,
weird, isn't it though? Like the video game has really impacted people beyond just playing games,
yeah.
like beyond just kind of setting up for a session and going sailing.
Well, and it's the rare magic. They really managed to do it again. You gotta dig a little bit more for this one, I think.
Hmm.
But Rare is such a high quality developer. They've always banked on that. And you know, to be fair to Microsoft, I have not seen them completely crush studios like EA does when they buy them up. And
Yeah.
they've managed to preserve that feeling, or it's lived on through some of the people, some of the staffers that have stayed on there. And that's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
They
Well, I grew
create,
up with Rare, so
yeah,
yeah, it's like
absolutely,
even
absolutely.
here and now near my 30s, I'm still enjoying that childhood wonder that Rare
Hmm.
has always brought me, but in a whole new format.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're probably less than 2 years apart in age, somewhere about
I
there.
would say somewhere about there, but
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That don't matter. We're all children at heart if we're playing these sorts of games. We're all
You're right.
looking
No,
for
I'm
that
just
sense
saying.
of
I
wonder.
grew up with the Donkey Kongs and
Yeah,
the
same
Viva
dude. Yeah,
Pinatas,
yeah.
and
We
yeah,
definitely be
absolutely
around
right.
the same age group for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country,
Oh,
man. Pitch Black, or Perfect Dark. Sorry, not Pitch Black. That's a different game entirely.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect
Yeah, I
Dark.
remember
Yeah, the
Perfect Dark.
GoldenEye.
Man, co-op shooters like those are fun. I
Yeah,
I don't know why that
yeah.
didn't catch on earlier.
007 GoldenEye on the
Yeah,
Nintendo 64. Now that's a
uh,
throwback. That's a definite throwback. But
I honestly forgot that was even rare. It's been
well,
so
that
long.
game was like it was innovative when it come to first person shooters. I mean, mostly it was like platforms
Right.
back then, and you didn't necessarily
Mm.
have the whole 3D world first person interactive
Yeah.
environment. It wasn't until after
Right.
GoldenEye that things like that started to really like, and then you've got the perfected version of GoldenEye. This is what I call it, the perfected version of GoldenEye. That is Perfect Dark. That was
Yeah.
fantastic first person shooter for its time, and I've bloody
It
loved
was.
it. It
Well,
was
and I'm
beautiful.
always, I am here because this is a co-op game. If this wasn't a co-op game, I probably wouldn't have played it
Yeah,
much.
I'm not a single player
But
fan.
But yeah, co-op is where I live. I love hanging out with my wife, and I play video games together. My friends, I keep up with my friends from college through
Hmm.
playing video games. In fact, my best man from my wedding, like he's my first mate. Like, I sail the ship and he goes and wrecks the other crew by boarding them. And so Perfect Dark being a co-op game early on back in the 64 days was just that you didn't have that, you know,
No, yeah. It,
in the PlayStation days,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
uh,
As
but
time
but
moved on.
regardless, yeah, it was fantastic. I played hours and hours of that with my cousins because you could play four-person co-op,
You
and that was
could
just not,
all on the same
you
couch.
know, yeah, it was not super common in shooters at the time, and so we really enjoyed that. It took years for that to catch on.
Hmm.
The next game that really did that well was like Borderlands.
Yeah. Oh God.
So
I won't even get started to that. That's changing topic
right.
entirely. Yeah. But no, fantastic game as well. But no. What was it, mate? What was it like as a student when you joined the AIU? Yeah. What was that like? That's something that I'm curious to know. What it was like on the onboarding.
Oh
To,
man, you guys were my
like,
people.
hell yeah.
So I started in on this whole mess, um, with the beginning of this set of puzzles, with the
Hmm.
first what I call the Octo Rune, that 8 rune sheet.
Yeah, the one
And
that
I
started
remember
it all.
I
Yeah.
yeah, because I really don't engage on a wider, I have my friends and my family. I tend to just kind of
Hmm.
stick with them. I don't usually engage with the wider community as much. But I found this thing, and none of my close friends are really into puzzles like I am like this. So I found this sheet of runes, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I pulled open uh, the Merfolk's Lullaby. I pulled open the wiki, and I'm
Hmm.
looking through, and I'm like, hey, we don't know most of these runes. Like this is intriguing.
Mm.
And at the time I had just started doing insiders. Um, and obviously I can't discuss
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
discussed on the
Oh,
insiders
be careful where you
forums.
tread here, boy.
Right, right. I know people they don't even like you to say the word insiders.
Yeah, that's
But my
it.
point is that was my first wider engagement with the community, and I
Hmm.
would discuss the runes there, and that led me to Scalia actually, because he's kind of active on the insider forums a little bit.
God, I love that dude.
And
What a
yeah, oh,
brain in that
wonderful.
guy's skull, I'm
Don't
telling you.
even know if I'm saying his name correctly. I'm sure I'm
I just
butchering
call
it,
him
but
Scully for short, and he hasn't corrected
there
me
you go.
since, so I just go with
So
it.
I found him, and I was like, oh, this is intriguing. But you guys were kind of closed up. I had a big argument with the guy who runs the wiki,
Okay.
because I had come to the conclusion, it was very popular at the time, that the sixth rune on that sheet was rock.
Hmm.
And I was just like, no, 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 that's not the case. Everything that I can find leads me to believe that it's not.
Yeah.
And so I had gone to the wiki, and he had it translated as rock on there. And I edited it, because it's a wiki, you can edit
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, and he changed it back. So I
Yeah,
I
that's fair
left I
enough.
edited and the next time, and I left a note, and I explained my edit. And 15 minutes later he changed it back. So I just started maliciously editing it uh, every 10 minutes until finally he locked the page.
Well,
And and so I was like, man, I gotta find a way to communicate my ideas, because clearly this is a really popular false idea,
mm.
and and
Well,
and
it
I
was
could
coming up
see
a lot, wasn't it?
why. Right, it was. And so I was like, how am I gonna? So then you guys opened um, the invites for
Yeah,
AIU,
we just
and I
made
popped
it
in,
public
and like
access.
I'm really cognizant of being overbearing. I know I can come off as overbearing at times. I work in a really high pressure job,
Hmm.
so I know that I can have quite the personality. So I remember I was very careful not to just come in there and be like, "Oh, I got this thing." I really wanted to see where you guys were at, and so I was kind of sitting and watching. And I remember I let the chat sit for like a couple hours,
Hmm.
and then the topic came up organically, and I said, "Oh, I've got a theory about this," and I don't know if it was you or Scolia,
It could
but
have
you
been
invited
anybody.
me to. Right, and you invited me to share my theory. And
Hmm.
so I said, this is it. This is my moment. And I shared my theory. And you know what was so great? The moment I knew these are my people is that I didn't get shot down. And in fact, I remember it was you. Specifically, I
Hmm.
remember you came in and you said, oh, I agree with everything you said. And I could tell that you had gone through some of the same struggles I had gone through in trying to
Yeah,
convince
mate.
people that it was not
It's like this
rock.
can't
And
be
I,
rock. It can't
right.
be.
And I could hear that in the way you talked about it. And I
Saw
was
you.
like, ah, these are
Hello.
my people. These are my people, because here we can have honest um, discussions without ego getting in the
Yes,
way.
and
And
that's
and
that's
so
one
that
thing that I
was,
make important too. So I don't mean to cut you off there, but
oh, no, no,
people
that's
get
fine.
offended by scrutiny. which is
Right.
totally cool. I mean, people invest a lot of work to come up with their theories, and they don't like it when it gets shot down so easily. They take it to heart.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the AIU, scrutiny is important, and I will flex scrutiny all day. The guys will
Sure.
tell you about it because
Absolutely.
it is like I mentioned earlier. It's a fact filter. You need to
Yeah.
be able to apply contradictive thinking to a theory, and if I can't disprove it, I'm not trying to disprove it because I want you to be wrong. I'm trying to disprove it because if it
Right.
can't be disproved, then it's right. We have an answer. That's what I'm looking
Absolutely.
for. But you can't just
There
blindly
is
accept something. You know what I
there
mean?
is definitely skill in being able to communicate your theories in a way that leaves people feeling good about their, like, if I think you're wrong, I'm not just gonna come and be like, hey, Nafe, you idiot,
Yeah,
you're
yeah, I get that.
wrong. But and that's difficult. That can be difficult to do over text chat. But the
Yeah.
AIU has a much more
Oh,
they're
yeah, I'll
much more
change that shortly,
tolerant
Sonia.
of the the what do you want? What do I want to say? Opposition,
Hmm.
because we know that we're there to be opposed, right? I
That's
come
right.
to the AIU in order to sometimes I just plop my ideas out. It's a raw idea. I'm walking along. I'm going on a walk. I'm walking my dog, and something comes to my head, and I pop into the AIU and I say, hey, and I just spit my idea down, and then maybe somebody like Toto or you come up with some obscure piece of lore that just eviscerates my idea. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
that happens to
It
me a lot
doesn't
too.
bother
Yeah,
me. Right. It doesn't bother me because that's the whole point, is
that's
that
right.
I needed to know
Yep.
and you guys had the knowledge. And so now I can move on strengthened in that knowledge, that I have that piece of knowledge now, and I can put that theory on the pile of false theories. And people underestimate how important knowing where you don't need to look is.
Hmm.
You know, if I know that I don't need to follow up with this given theory because that character was dead or out of the Sea of Thieves or,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever,
that's right.
that's
That's right.
great. That's wonderful. I can move on to looking for more productive, paths to the
And
same
yeah,
idea.
that's exactly why we like getting people such as yourself into the university. Like, not only can you guys deliver scrutiny, but you can handle receiving it.
Yeah.
Many
Yeah.
times in the past, like talking about the eclipses, for example, they were on a loop, and that was easy to know. It was really really easy to know, and when I said that you could get two, maybe even three a day, and we get four. There was one friend that he doesn't play Sea of Thieves anymore, but he was adamant that there would only ever be one, and that was it because of the way the moon works. And it just kind of started like a rivalry at first. I wouldn't have my drive to have found those eclipse cycles
Right.
as much as when I was like, no, there has to be two in one day because I've seen two in one day. There's pictures that come up on Twitter of multiple eclipses inside a couple of hours. Like,
Right.
like it has to happen. But he got so upset about it, and it really damaged our friendship in the long run. Like, as rough as it is to say, because he just couldn't accept that there was a possibility it might be otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's hard. That's hard.
that's the worst part about scrutiny is that
Yeah.
sometimes it sounds like a weapon. It's like we're not trying to hurt your feelings. It's really nothing like that.
Yeah. Well, I come from a background of scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
in my own career,
Yep.
and for sure, like, it never goes away. People always have those struggles and difficulties trying to like each other. I mean, there's famous instances. I don't know. There's a documentary called The Bone Wars.
Right.
Have you watched that? It's about these two American scientists back in the 1800s that were arguing over dinosaurs so much that, I mean, they were terrible to each other. They were dynamiting each other's digs, and they were slandering each other in the press. And
Jeez.
you just can't let it get that far.
Hmm.
Um, and you gotta be willing to be wrong. A willingness to be wrong is more important than raw intelligence in scholarship, because with a willingness to be wrong, it doesn't matter how smart you are.
That's it.
You can go in and you can be wrong over and over and over, but you just keep coming back, and eventually you will be correct.
Yeah.
By
Well,
dint of, yeah.
yeah. No,
Go ahead.
I get you. I get you. Because being when we learn, like, I say this a lot, because being wrong in science especially is just as, if not more important, as being right.
Yeah,
Because when we find out what things aren't, we get closer to what things are. So you'll probably have a
correct.
better shot hitting a target if you aim for something that's not true and then mark that off. Next thing that's
Yeah,
not true, mark that off.
that's
Which is a
that's the
similar
heart of the
thing.
scientific method.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it comes, like with translating our runes. We take possibilities and we see if we can mark them off. And the ones that are harder to mark off are the ones that we kind of hold on to a little tighter and just kind of keep them
Yeah,
nearby. You know, it's like these are
absolutely.
the possibilities that we've struggled to knock down. So that's just, yeah, it's part of science. Being wrong is everything. Like
Yeah,
it comes down to how it's all constructed. You know, we find what's incorrect, and it's just like an
it's a it's a
elimination
big
process.
part of my my personality. A big part of that is remembering that people don't take being wrong as easily as I do. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
be,
that's true.
because I'll get into it with someone and I'm just excited to know, and whether I'm wrong or not, I don't particularly care. And then they get really mad and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that most people don't like being wrong.
Mm.
like, we all have our
and
moments. I'm
and
not saying
even
I'm
that can
perfect.
sound harsh, and it's like, oh God,
Right.
like just say it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
oh, like,
yeah. Yeah.
but no, I
I
get
mean,
it, I get
even
it.
I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect either. I've definitely had my hackles up, and been like, no, screw you. No, I'm gonna I'm gonna dig in my heels and
You
uh
know, I'm
and
gonna
and then
solidify
later
this one. This is mine.
I
Yeah, just
always
own it.
feel foolish. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, it's like a Newton and Hooke. Was it Hooke? What was who was that guy that challenged Newton, who said that he had the gravity theory written up already or calculated already? He was like,
I
"Yeah,
don't
show
know
us,"
that
and he
one.
was like, "No, I can't show you." So Newton was the one who done the book.
Right.
It was all
Yeah.
about Newton's law, Newton's laws, and there was this other scientist who was apparently rather distasteful. He was not a nice fella, who was always
Sure.
trying to weasel in on like popular sciences and things like that. Bit of a smoke blower, I guess you could say.
Ah.
But
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
was told that his things were wrong, he tried to drag people's names through the mud, tried to use the weight of his name to discredit and disprove and things like that.
Sornier is saying Robert Hooke. That sound right?
Robert Hooke, that does sound right. Yeah, I think you might be onto something there, Sonia. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was
Well,
basically Newton's rival, essentially.
uh, as much as I'm sure Sornier is enjoying listening to us talk about the scientific method,
You have to get
it
ready for
is
work, mate.
8 minutes past 6, and I gotta get ready for work. But we have this working now.
We do.
Boy, I cannot say I want to try it again tomorrow night. But
No, we'll try.
if
We'll
you
try for this
wanna,
fortnightly thing. We'll try it again 2 weeks from now.
sure,
See how we go from there. We'll mix
absolutely,
up the topics. We'll talk with some of the people on social media. See if they want to get back to us about what things they might like to hear about, and
yeah.
we'll
But
talk through.
anytime you feel like you want to talk about something and you want to co-host, you hit me up. We'll
Absolutely,
do it, man. It's
absolutely.
a lot of fun.
I mean, hey, if you want a new host entirely, feel free to recommend it. I'll take no offense.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I might not want to host at 4 a.m.
That's fair.
But
Hey, hippie, how you going, mate? Welcome.
so hopefully this will work better next time. All right.
Aye.
Well, that is me out.
Well,
Everybody
thanks for
have a
joining us. I'm
wonderful
really
day.
glad we got it working, and I hope you have a
Yes.
fantastic day, mate. To everyone who just appeared, I'm very sorry that we're closing up early, but you can catch it all on the playback. The VOD will be set
Yeah.
for 14 days. I'll also throw it up on YouTube, and I'll fix the title because it still says audio test. Yeah. We'll
All
fix
right.
the
Well,
audio or
take
something.
care and
You
keep
too,
your
buddy.
eyes on the horizon.
Aye, will do, lad. Fair winds to you. All right, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out for what turned out to be a bonus stream since we managed to get Tortuga's audio working. Better late than never, I suppose. But you guys got the nice tail end over there. That was a fantastic little chat that I had there with a good friend of mine from the Ancient Elves University. He's our second grade student. He's a great fella. He doesn't get around Twitter too much, but he'll do you right when it comes to science. But I hope you guys all have a fantastic day, fantastic night, fantastic afternoon, fantastic morning, wherever you are on the planet. You guys are incredible. Thank you for hanging out. Lurkers, you guys are the lifeblood of the small streamer community. You keep doing what you guys are doing, you're angels. And I'll catch us in the next one, 2 weeks from now. Much love, guys. Peace out.